Okay, so hi, Assalamualaikum. So we are going to present case 33, which is about AI, comedy, and counterculture. In 2024, a company called Ducey used AI to create a new comedy special mimicking the lead comedian Josh Carlin, who passed away in 2008. The AI-generated show used his voice and style without family consent, raising ethical concerns about respect, ownership, and exploitation in AI-generated art. So there are three key points to consider. First is AI recreated Carlin's voice and humor without consent. Number two, the special was monetized for profit. And number three is the situation sparked global debate on ethics in AI generated art. So there are five facts. First one is Dulce used AI to recreate George Carlin's voice and style for a full hour comedy special. The project was monetized without consent from its estate. The AI-generated material included jokes Carlin never made. Carlin's daughter and estate opposed the project, and the AI company justified it as impersonation. And there are four main ethical issues in this case. First, misuse of a deceased person's likeness and creative style. Second, lack of consent and potential misrepresentation. Commercial exploitation without compensation, and also audience confusion and authenticity concerns. And there are four potential harms: damage to Carlin's legacy and reputation, loss of income or control for his family, misleading the public, and also undermining creative opportunities for living comedians. And there are also five stakeholders in this case, which is Ducci, the AI creators, Josh Carlin's estate and family, which is represented by Kelly Carlin, audience, other comedians and artists, and finally, regulators.
For this slide, I am isolating the main article dilemma in the case. The dilemma is whether AI creators should release and monetize full-length simulated performance of deceased artists without getting consent from the artist's family or estate by relying on disclaimers. The alternative is to refrain from releasing such as content unless explicit consent is obtained. This dilemma exists because AI technology allows creativity and profit, but it also raises concern about respect, consent, and how a person's legacy should be treated after death. Now I will analyze the ethical impact of both options. First, if the action is done and AI performances are released without consent, several parties may be harmed. The artist's family or estate may feel disrespect because the artist's identity is used without permission. Society may also be affected as AI performance can confuse audience and distort the truth. Additionally, the artist's legacy and accuracy of their works may be damaged. Next, if the action is not done and creators choose not to release the AI performance, different harms occur. AI creators may lose short-term revenue and creative opportunities. Some audience may also lose access to this specific form of entertainment. There may also be limitation on certain experimental use of AI technology.
So moving on to question D, if action in step 2 is done, who, if anyone, will benefit? So the answer is, if action in step 2 is done, the one who will benefit is the AI creators or any AI platforms. The question E, if action in step 2 is not done, who, if anyone, will benefit? So the answer is whether it estates or families. Next is living artists and audience. So F, which alternative results in the maximum benefit, D or E? So the answer is alternative E will result in the maximum benefit because it protects rights and trust mainly even through some creators may lose opportunities. The benefits are wider and more durable. So next is question G. What rights have been or may be abridged? What duties have been or may be neglected? Identify the stakeholder and the right or duty. When listing a right, show its corresponding duty and vice versa. So first one is the family has the right to control Carlin image because it's their family. Carlin is their family. So the creator must ask permission from them. Next, fans have the right to know the truth. The platform must label honesty and not lying to the audience or fans. So next question, H. If action in step 2 is done, if anyone will be treated with disrespect. So the answer is yes, the Carlin and his family and the audience will be treated with disrespect if the action in step 2 is done. So last question is so I. If action in step 2 is not done, who, if anyone, will be treated with disrespect? So honestly, if action in step 2 is not done, everyone will be respected because it's fair, honest, and protects the artist's legacy.
Question J. Which alternative is preferable, H or I? Based on our analysis, alternative I, which is no action, is preferable because it avoids unfair treatment and respects consent. Next is question K. It asks who will be treated unfairly if action is done. If content is released without consent, deceased artists' estates are bypassed, unlike living artists who still have the right to refuse. At the same time, living comedians feels unfair and skewed competition because AI generated content can imitate styles without permission. Next is question L. It asks who will be treated unlike others if action is not done. In this case, no one is treated unfairly because the same constant standards apply equally to everyone. Question M asks which alternative is preferable, K or L. Again, L, which is no action, is better option as it maintains fairness and equal treatment. Question N asks whether there are benefits if everyone releases content without consent. While there may be short-term benefits such as more content, this leads to a long-term problem, including loss of trust, ethical exploitation, and confusion over artistic legacy. On the other hand, question O asks whether there are benefits if nobody does the action and consent is always required. This creates stable ethical norms, preserve artist legacy, ensures a clear and fair market, and allows creative work such as parody to exist in a properly labeled and ethical way. Finally, question P asks which alternative is preferable and O. Based on our analysis, alternative O is preferable, which is to seek consent first and avoid unconsented releases.
So next is deciding and planning the implementation. In this section, I will explain how ethical decisions guide the implementation process. First, it is important to make a defensible ethical decision. AI-stimulated performances of decreased artists should not be released or monetized without clearer and explicit consent from the artist's estate or family. If consent cannot be obtained, the responsible choice is to refrain completely from releasing the content. However, if consent is granted, the project can be proceed but only with strict guardrails in place. These include clear labeling, proper licensing agreements, and ongoing oversight to prevent misuse or misrepresentation. So next is implementation plan. In the immediate phase, which is days 0 to 14, monetization and distribution are paused until consent is confirmed. Clear on video and description labels must be added to inform viewers that the content is an AI stimulation and is not yet authorized by the estate. During this time, the estate is contacted to request consent, and all training data related to the artist is audited and frozen. If consent is granted within 2 to 6 weeks, a formal licensing agreement is established. This agreement defines usage scope, revenue sharing, takedown rights, and editorial approval. Provenance tracking and watermarking are applied, and transparent disclosures are made to the public. If consent is not granted, the AI stimulation and all related marketing materials are permanently removed. A public statement is issued, and the project pivots toward original or clearly transformative content without imitating the decreased artist. So now I'll explain the impact of these actions on stakeholders and the long-term implications. For the estate and family, this approach ensures respect, control, and fair compensation, including veto power over how the artist's likeness is used. For creators and platforms, while there may be a lower short-term revenue, it results in higher trust, legitimacy, and reduced legal and ethical risk. Audiences benefit from clearer provenance and reduced confusion, while living artists face less displacement, leading to a fairer creative ecosystem. In the long term, this approach supports industry-wide standards such as a constant first policies, mandatory labeling, and the stronger legal protections. The key pivot point is clear: consent must be obtained before production. Disclaimers alone are not sufficient when realism, monetization, and the risk of misattribution are involved.